What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
Batman's gone mad!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans last community.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive! Here's Johnny.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? Welcome back to another episode of Fright Flick Fuck, Marry, Kill. And on this episode, I am joined by the very talented writer, director, producer, a friend of the Fright Flick family, Trevor Younger. Did I say your name right, brother?
Yeah, you did. Most people get it wrong, but you got it right.
Younger?
Yep, younger.
Okay, see? Hey. And hey, I appreciate you coming on here and talking about this movie that we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in that interview way back and stuff, and I was like, we should definitely do that. And then I saw it in a live screening last week, like a week ago today, and it was like a totally different experience for me, right? Like sold out little like micro cinema, right? Like you're arm to arm with a bunch of strangers watching Salo. And I was like, I think I'm ready to talk about it. I've only seen it twice, right? I've seen it once and then the other time, and I don't plan on watching it again anytime soon, but I thought it was time to talk about it.
Yeah, when you hit me up and told me that you had just watched it, when you hit me up, I had recently just ordered the DVD for my collection because I have it right here, and I just ordered it, and so I was just like, man, this is like meant to be. Like it's just fresh off the press that you had seen it, and so me and you had talked, and so I had never heard of it really until you had mentioned it on the time when you were on the show, and I haven't tried to watch it because I wanted to wait until you were able to talk about it, so I was like, I'm just not going to, and then when you hit me up out of the blue and I'm like, holy shit, I got this thing on the way in the mail and it was the perfect time to talk about this. So Salo is what we're talking about today, if you haven't picked up on it yet. And I did put out on social media earlier I told everybody to put on their grown-up britches for this one. Cause if you
take them off.
Yeah, or whatever makes it, hey, that's your kink. Who are we to judge on this shit show? Who are we to judge? What? But like I said, you literally said you just watched it for your second time.
Yeah.
I just watched it for the first time yesterday, and I rewatched it again.
You watched it a second time right afterward. Oh my goodness. You're a brave soul.
But there's a reason why. Because we're just going to jump right into it. We're not wasting everybody's time with housekeeping stuff. I got Trevor here, so we're just going to jump. But before I jump into it, though, man, I want to give you give you some time to talk about anything you got coming or anything like that. I want you to kind of.
Oh, well, let's talk about Salo, dude.
Okay.
Forget my shit. Who cares about my shit?
Okay.
Salo, people don't care about that. People want to hear about the poop thing. Well, that is really what people think about when they hear of this movie, right? Because it's notorious for that, but it's notorious for a bunch of different reasons. You have the Criterion Collection version, and that's like one of the first movies that Criterion put out. I just learned about this at the screening, so I'm just like plagiarizing what they said, and that kind of like helped build Criterion into what it is. And it's like Criterion's like this big art kind of thing, and it probably wouldn't exist in the way that it does today without Salo, because Salo was like so sought after that like on eBay, like copies of it were going for like $1,000.
Oh yeah.
So Criterion put it out like in its first like wide release ever. So if you like Criterion, think that give your props to Salo.
Yeah, this one, and I will say this is a very, and I posted pictures of it on, I think, my Instagram of kind of like what's all inside of this. This was a very, very well done, put together thing because there's a little booklet in there that's got a whole lot of reading. The DVD itself has a ton of like behind the scenes interviews and stuff like that. And that's what made me go back and watch it a second time because I feel like maybe this happens for a lot of people. The first time you see it, you get caught up in the shock of what you're seeing and you overlook things. And
Yeah.
so after I watched the behind the bonus stuff they put on the Blu-ray and kind of looked online, it made me want to go like, I got to see it again because it's like, I feel like I did the same thing the first time. I was caught up into like, what the fuck am I watching?
Right, yeah, real visceral reactions to what you're seeing. Like
Yep.
it's a rough film to watch. And yeah, I think I had the same experience. I just like took it for the actions that you see on screen and less about the like satire of it, right? Like, oh, who are these people? It's the Duke, it's the president, it's
Yeah.
the Monsignor, and it's the judge guy, right? Like these are aspects of like society that are coming together to like consolidate power and then run amok over society. And it's like, okay, it actually does have like a real message to it, and it is so like not subtle in it, right? Like the
Oh no.
first scene, these four people coming together and signing a treaty where they all get together and they all marry each other's daughters immediately afterward to consolidate power. It's like on its face, it tells you exactly what it is, but you get so caught up in like the awful acts that you just sort of forget about that.
And yes, and I didn't even, you had mentioned it to me when we did the interview, and I didn't really, even after you talked about it, I didn't dig into it. I was just like, I'm one of those, I want to just experience it. That's why I don't like watching movie trailers and stuff like that. So I just kind of heard, my brother had taught like, oh, Salo's this like kind of rough one, and had no clue. Like the shit eating scene.
You
I
didn't
didn't
know it was coming.
I didn't know it
Okay.
was coming. And so those types of parts, I got to just for the first time without looking online or digging into it. I didn't look into anything until after I watched it. But it was like as soon as it starts off, you got these higher ups and they're just sitting there like this, like, here's the deal, here's what we're going to do. And it still doesn't prepare you for what's about to go down. Like it's
Oh,
just
not at all.
no.
No.
And good Lord, there's just so much to unpack on this thing. But because I'll save this part to the end of it. But holy shit, what when you watched it the first time, did you know a lot about it?
Yeah, well, I knew about the shit eating thing, and it was like one of the more notorious films. And when I was in undergrad, and that was before, the internet really had like everything out there, and you couldn't even pirate certain things. Like we passed around DVDs
Mhm.
of like we had Story of Ricky, which is like the super violent movie. We had Old Boy was one of them, and Battle Royale, I think, was another one
I like that one.
where like people had heard about it and stuff, and it's like this really cool foreign thing. And I don't think that there were any releases in like around us where we could get an actual copy. So it was all these like bootleg things that we just kind of passed around and stuff. And that was one that we talked about, but we never got to see it. So I didn't get to see it until much later. And at that point, I wasn't like, I got to see every awful movie in the world. I had kind of grown up a little bit, but I still needed to see it, I guess, right? crossed it off the bucket list. But I knew about it. I knew what it was known for, but I didn't know anything about the satire or the political implications of it and stuff. And that's why Pasolini was killed, right?
Yeah.
Like murdered for this movie. How powerful is that, right?
Like literally like the week before it was supposed to get released, he gets murdered
Yeah.
because of this movie. And after I watched it, it made me kind of I went into looking more into him and kind of and the one thing with the Blu-ray, there's a lot of him being interviewed and him breaking down the way what his view was of what he wanted. And it's crazy because after I've watched it, I can see how people try to sit down and watch it. And the first thing is that first reaction of being like, oh, they're doing this to these kids. Oh, they're eating shit. Oh, and they're just blinded by that. They're caught up in that shock factor. And after, I didn't even pick up on all the political stuff the first time I watched it because I'm just locked into like, she's eating shit,
Certainly, yeah. Like that was the same for me. And then like the second viewing, I was just like I was locked in on that and all the stuff that was going on around it.
Yeah.
Because I had already experienced that, and you get shocked still, but it's
Oh, yeah.
not the same after the second time, right? So you can really notice things. Like I never noticed the like some things in the soundtrack, like they like go out to the windows and they're looking out the window and you can hear like
Oh,
bombers and
that's what I was
stuff.
about to say. I was about to bring that up.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, like I think I misunderstood before where like it just seemed like these people do this to all these people all the time.
Yeah.
But it's more like this is at the very end of World War II, and these people are like toast. They're done. They're gonna be like exterminated, like the big higher up guys, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is our last hurrah. Let's do let's take our power and use it, exploit it to its infinite ability, right? So then they get these like master prostitutes, I guess, and they
Okay,
tell these
it's an
stories, and then
OG
they get
prostitutes.
inspired. Yeah, yeah. So I was talking to Carrie about it, and she's like, "How many times do you think they've done this before?" And I was like, "None." Like they hear these stories about like scat and stuff, and maybe they've experienced it in some way, but like they're like, let's do this thing that no one's ever done before. Right? They're like trying to test the boundaries of like sadism to the extreme, like no one's ever done before. And the film is kind of reflective of that, right? It's sort
Yeah.
of
Because
I
what
don't
made me think that this wasn't a normal thing they did, because after I watched it and then went back and watched it, that in the beginning, they're all sitting there at that dinner table, these higher ups, and they're passing this book around. It's like they're all signing off on it. And this kind of like this rule book. And in my mind, after I watched it again, I was like, okay, maybe this wasn't their first time. This is, like you said, we got it, our last hoorah. But maybe they all sit down and like some of the deepest, darkest shit that may go on in your head, that maybe they sit down and they put it in this book. Maybe they sit down and was like, this, I kind of want to do this. And then they're just like, these are going to be the rules. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to agree to it. And, I didn't get what I didn't quite get was the reason around the older OG prostitutes was just to tell their stories and to turn them on.
Yeah, I think that was the idea. That like they had, I think each of them, there were three of the old prostitutes, right? And I think that they had connections to the Duke and had connections to the president because they mentioned that, right? Like, oh, the president's fetishes or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but I do think that they are just like these super experienced, like they've experienced everything before, so it can conjure things in their imagination. I think that they say that at the beginning, like what's the purpose of them coming out and reciting these very strange stories, and I think that is precisely what it's for.
I knew when it started, and when it instantly gave off the creepy vibe for me was in the beginning where they have this like a platoon of these guys, lined up, and you see this group of men come walking in, and they just give off that just high powered, sleazy, I'm always going to get my way type of personality, the way they're looking, the way they're talking, and they're looking at these boys. And and it gets to that first part, like they waste no time with it. They get to the first part and they're just like, drop your pants. And I'm sitting there going, you're not even going to like, warm us up to it. You're just going to be like, here you go. And
Yeah, it's shot a really weird way too, right? Like
yes,
if you wanted it to not be assaulting to your senses, you have it in like a wide shot, but instead they have it like in a close up and it
oh
just
yeah,
tilts down.
bring the
And
camera down. And that,
right, yeah, it is very like here are our genitals. Here it
yeah.
is.
And it's like they write these names down of these boys that they're picking, and they throw it in this little box, and then they move on. And and then I thought in the beginning, I thought, is this just the guys? Like this just a like the He-Man Woman Hater Club? Like this just a dude club? But then no, we bring in the females.
Mhm.
Same process.
Yeah, that one sticks out to me as being like one of the moments that's just like really fucked up with the where she's like crying about her dead mother and
Oh,
stuff. And then they like he's just so turned on by this, like he's
yes.
stands up like this is the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. And it's like, where are we going from here? This is just the beginning, right?
Oh yeah. And it is like as soon as they have you come to find out they're there to pick a total of 18, 9 boys, 9 girls. And they as I'm watching it, I like when they're driving up to the big house or whatever this thing is, they're taking them to. And in my mind, I'm instantly going, oh, this is the 70s versions of like Epstein Island. Like this is this is what this is going to be.
Yes, I felt a lot of that because like I when I first saw it, it was before all the Epstein stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, this like makes a lot of sense for today. Like he wasn't wrong, right? Like people in power exploit their power and become corrupted sexually, right? Like, and we see it over and over again. And he like it's like I guess a natural thing in humans, and that's so scary
It
that
is.
like yeah. And like, I mean, we see it in politics and we see it with celebrity. And I guess this doesn't really get into celebrity as much, but like we see it over and over and over again. And like it rings very true to me.
Yeah, and some of the interviews on the Blu-ray that I watched with Mr. Paulo is it's crazy as I'm listening to him. This is like 70s, 74, 75, as he's doing this movie. And it's crazy when I listen to him. This dude was ahead of his time of what he's seen coming. It was like he was calling it 30 something years ago because I look like where we're at, some of the shit that, now, and I'm like, Mr. Paulo, you was on to something, buddy, with this the power because it's crazy because as you're watching it, it's this power of just it's almost like you watch these guys and like it's not enough. Like you have reached the pinnacle of where you're at. You're up here, but that's still not enough for them. They got some deep dark shit that they need to get out of their system.
Yeah, I was watching an interview. It was unrelated to this. It was something about like how some movie had predicted the future, and they talked to the filmmaker, and he said like, no, we weren't predicting the future. We were telling the story of always. Like it's just always this way, and like that's kind of what I feel about it. Like, oh, okay, so like in the 1970s, like he's telling a period piece from, fucking World War II,
Yeah,
right? And like it was for him, like he experienced not this story, but he experienced shit in World War II. And it was that way then. And then he saw like, okay, it's the 1970s. It's that way now. And then like we can say now watching it in present day, it's that way still.
it
And
is.
it's like that's fucking so
It's crazy.
scary. And it'll be that way always, right? It's
Yeah,
just human nature.
yeah, and that's after. Like I said, it took me, and that's why I tell you all people right now. If you watch this movie, if you've never seen it, you're going to get caught up in the shock the first time. You go back and you have to push through it again because you pay attention to more stuff, the things that are being said, and you see it differently. I did. I seen it completely differently the second time I watched it. But yeah, it was the because after I had watched it, I looked into some of the shit online on it, and a lot of stuff where people are like tagging it as like, oh, it's just a porno, oh, it's just all this stuff, and I could I could see how maybe here's what I took out. You got to go into this movie with just this fucking open mindedness of being able to be like, you know what, just and holy shit, that's it.
Hey, can I ask you something about it? Did you watch the subtitle version or the dubbed version?
I had it both going, the
Okay,
subtitle
well,
and the dubbed.
at the same time, or you did one and then the
I
other?
did one, then the other.
They're so different,
They
right?
are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I saw the dub first, and then when I researched it afterwards, I like watched scenes from it again, and the subtitles are like, this is way, way different. Like, what is accurate? Um,
I feel like the dubbed one went more uh a little harder than the the dub one, the one that had just the English talking over it. I feel like
yeah.
they're able to read what they're actually saying because in some of the interviews, I noticed it the first time when I got done watching it. I watched a lot of interviews and some of the scenes they were showing just subtitles.
Hmm.
And then I'm sitting there going, I'm like, I don't remember them saying it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the subtitle version it did have, I think it went more. If you could go even harder and more deeper, the subtitle one went deeper in some of
Yeah.
the shit that they're saying.
So it's been a long time since I saw the dubbed version, since I watched the subtitle version. And it was like, oh yeah, that's a lot different. But I was like the president's jokes, I fucking did not understand them in the subtitled version. Maybe I wasn't supposed to, but I felt like the dubbed version, like I got the joke at
Yeah.
least. So I feel like there's something lost in translation there. And then, but yes, I agree. Like the prostitutes telling their stories and stuff. I feel like the subtitled version definitely worse than the dubbed version.
Yeah, because when they get them there, they break out this rule book and they tell them all these rules. Like basically every evening we're all going to come together in the gathering room, and these ladies are going to come down there and tell these stories, and these stories are meant to like turn them on and these stories, people, this ain't just some little, PG-13 Playboy magazine stories. These ladies have some stories, like, and from anything from and like I said, we don't hold nothing back on this show, but from stuff to where it being like, child pedophile type shit, and it goes into it, and it's so awkward because you're watching these men listen to this lady talk, and they're kind of looking at these kids next to them, or touching their leg, and I'm just like, this is turning these fuckers on.
It's really surreal how they do it too. Like it's like the piano and
Yes.
it's got all this pomp around it, and like she's dressed like in this flowing gown thing, and like big smile on her face as she recites this thing that is just so awful. That it's like it's so strange. It's really similar to, yeah, their rule book. They have these laws that they've created that are clearly like, violations of human dignity.
It
Uh,
is.
but like they still like signed it into law instead of just like doing whatever they do, right? They don't
Yeah,
just tell people to kill whenever they want. They have like
yeah, it's
fucking.
like I didn't understand like why they had to like all sign this particular book. I don't know if it was like to be if if this shit goes south and we all get caught, we're all going down together. Because it's like they, in that type of position they're in, they could have easily just been like, hey, dude, I got this place for rent up the road. We're going to grab that bad boy for a few months, and, we're going to bring some shit in there, and we're going to, and just be an agreement on it, but um, one of the things that with the ladies, it was so weird to me because you would think, because you always see, or not, I won't say always, but there's cases where stuff like that like traumatizes people to a like later on in life. But these ladies are like up there. They're not like in their 20s. These are, look like they're maybe in their 50s in that time. But they're talking about it like they're on stage, like they're putting on this performance, and they're just, like you said, smiling and just, it's like they're proud. The
Oh,
very
sure.
first lady, I think she said it basically was her mother that pushed her into it at this
Yes.
young age. And it's like she's proud of it. Like she has, but I guess her doing what she's done has got her to the level to where she's at in society. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's rubbing elbows with the absolute elite, like that, and it all comes from that rather than anything else that they've done. And what you were talking about, like why do they sign stuff? I think it's really similar to like the Nazis and shit, right? They sign laws about like how people can live and stuff, and it's like so fucked up, but it's still laws, and people like obey
yeah,
more. Maybe I'm not sure, but I think everything's analogous to like what's going on and stuff. And maybe you can look at your own laws and go, wait a second, isn't that kind of fucked up? And
yeah,
like, that's a law, even in the United States, like fucking segregation laws and stuff.
yeah.
And that was some fucked up shit, but it was a law,
It
and
was,
it seems like it's moral in some kind of way because it's written by a government.
yeah. And maybe it's their way of, if they would have got caught, they could just been like, well, it's the law. We could do this. We,
Yeah,
I'm the president. I'm the top dog here. And so, damn it, if I said I can make this old girl eat her shit, then she's gonna eat that shit, and it's gonna be okay. You know, and I did like how it was broke down into like I think how they word it, the Dante's, whatever, the different circles,
yeah.
and the very first one, it tells you, I had wrote it down and I didn't bring my shit with me, but and then it kind of goes into the next one. There's like three phases that they talk about in this thing.
I remember Circle of Shit. I
Yeah,
definitely.
circle. That's the one that definitely stands out because that's
Yeah.
the one, as because it's crazy about how he did. He does kind of warm you up to where he's about to go. It as fucked up as the beginning is, to where this lady's telling these stories, and these stories, people, are just hardcore sex shit. And you're watching these guys either grab up the boy or the girl, and they're filling them up and they're doing all this stuff. And when it starts off, they're all clothed. But I noticed as it went on,
Yes,
the clothing got less and less.
that
at,
is true.
at some point, they're all just, butt naked up in there while these ladies are telling these stories, and I was, it was, holy shit, man. This was it in the first parts where he made that the guy and the girl marry each other.
I don't remember where that happens. I think that happens. Yeah, I think that happens before the poop. I
The
don't know where
shit.
the poop happens in the
Yeah.
narrative of the
Yep.
thing. I think that happens around the midway point.
Yeah,
So
because they
it's just
bring,
separated before poop and after poop.
yeah, and it was so, and these and it's not just these guys want to, they have to be in control of everything, because even at some point, in that point where they made the guy and the girl marry each other, because what they did is they basically took those two, one of the older ladies, one of the crew that works there, basically takes them. The ladies got to make the other girl, that girl, come finish. The dude's got to make the boy. It's a way of saying you're a man, you're a woman. And when they do that, it's like, now you're a man, you're a woman. Now we're going to marry you. Like, you're going to get married. And they come up there, they do the marriage thing, and everything is just so, like, when they get married, they kick everybody out. They're like, everybody out. Now y'all get naked. Now y'all go over there, and they're supposed, I took it as like they got to consummate it, or I think that's the word, uh,
Yeah,
marriage. And
yeah,
it's, they're on the floor, and these creepy fuckers were just sitting back watching it. And I'm like, oh, they're about to watch these two just have sex. But then it's like, no. The dude said, you are not going to deflower. That's our job. And I'm just like, and these dudes, and hey, this is the part where I realized they're just not doing it to the kids. They're there to be that way with each other.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
In that moment,
they have no rules.
when I seen old dude drop his drawers, and I was like, oh, they are all in it together, you know. And yeah, it was, and then and then it gets into, when I seen that circle of shit, I had no clue what was coming. Like,
Before we get there,
okay, go ahead.
The thing with the marriage stuff. So have you heard of like prima nocta? That was like a thing that like the English people did to, what is it, the Scottish people, where like the king would have, like, two people would get married and the king would have sex with the bride before.
Oh,
It's in like Braveheart and stuff.
oh, was it?
Yeah, where it's not even necessarily the king, I don't think. Yeah, like that the English get to like uh put their power over the underclass, right? They get to
Oh,
go.
shit.
Yeah, so like everything has like some kind of origin and stuff, and it's all just like, this is what happens when people have power. They do this stuff. So I mean, like, everything has something from history and stuff.
And that's one of the things that I was looking at earlier today after I watched it again, because it made me want to dig more into it. And which is odd, because some movies I watch and I'm just like, got it, move on. But this one made me want to be like, why? What did this mean? What does this mean? What does, you know, this word mean when you break it down to the mid 40s, when this took place, like 44, 45? What was that word? Fascist,
Fascism? Yeah.
that word. you
Yeah.
know High school education here, people. I didn't really know what the fuck that meant, so I had to get on the old interweb, and I started looking it up before me and you got on here, because I was just like, man, it made me want to be like, there's more to it than just this guy not wanting to let this dude have sex with this girl. There's more to it. And that's where I said it made, after you explained that, that makes sense of just the power trip, man, of just, you're not going to do anything unless we greenlight it, you know? And so when it gets into the circle of shit, uh, as soon as the lady comes down the stairs and she starts telling her story, her little twist to her stories is all about the fucking either pissing on somebody or shitting and that type of stuff, you know. And as soon as she started talking about it, I'm like, I still didn't go where it went. I was like, oh, these people gonna make these kids piss on them or some shit, you know?
Well, they do that too.
And yeah, they definitely do, you know. And the part, there's a girl who you meet in the beginning. When they kidnap her, her mother tried to help her, because hey, people, when they kidnap these kids, it's not us like the parents know about this shit free will. No, they are literally taking these kids from wherever they're taking them. This particular girl was with her mother. They kidnap her. The mother falls into the water or something, or they killed the mother. They basically killed the mother off. And so come this point in the movie that this girl's got some shit she's going through, like, her mother died. Now she's stuck here. She is visibly upset. And the one dude, if I had to say it's going to sound bad. If I had to have my favorite one in this, out of the four assholes, was the guy with the beard,
the Duke.
The Duke. Yes. He was my favorite one. Because he stands up trying to like, send her over here. He wants to console her. And I'm sitting back going, bitch, don't go over there.
Yeah.
And the unexpected happened in that moment that I had no clue it was coming. When he goes to the table and then he shits on the floor. I thought he was.
Laugh because it's uncomfortable,
It
right?
is. It
Yeah.
is. Because there is. I laughed at stuff in this movie. Does that? Maybe I am that fucked up, but there was things I laughed at. And when he squatted down on the floor, I thought she was there. I thought he was about to do whatever he's going to do to her. That's what I thought because I didn't see her. I didn't know if he made her like get on the floor, if I'm missing something. And then all of a sudden he just stands up, and I'm still going, well, was she down there? And then when he walks away, you see his turd in the floor.
Yep.
And it's crazy to me because in that moment, I'm thinking to myself, you're putting a bullet in my head at that moment.
Yeah, but would they? They wouldn't. They wouldn't
Maybe
do
they
that. Like,
wouldn't because I'm
they,
like,
they talk about that.
yeah, but it's like it's her as upset as she was. Like her mother just died. It made me wonder what's going through her mind. This fear or something to where everything they've done to you at this point, and this dude tells you to take a spoon and eat his shit, and you still go over there and eat that shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, what is it that you are just so I don't know. Because in my mind, I'm going, nope, you'll fucking shoot me on sight. I will throw that shit at you and you're going to shoot me, buddy. But
Well,
like you said, they
yeah.
probably because it's not on their terms. They don't want you to die that way.
Yes, that's true. And like you have some other things at play too. One, they're kids, right? They're all supposed to be kids. They're all of legal age. The actors are, but they're supposed to be playing kids. And like the other thing is like if you think about like group mentality and stuff, it changes you. As much as you think in isolation, you would do that, and maybe if you were one on one, maybe you would. Like you look at like okay, there's what 17 kids because the one kid gets shot at the beginning. And like they have a chance to like just attack these people and stuff and worst case they get killed and it's better than the fate that they get but like consider the Holocaust, right? Like there are several people in this camp and they could try to mutiny or I guess it's not mutiny, right? They try to attack these people and stuff, but you see everyone else around you like submit, then you submit too, right? It's rare that one person would stand up and do something. It's like that bystander effect kind of thing. So I mean, like in the kayfabe world of we're in a real story here and stuff. I think it doesn't ring untrue to me that like they would end up doing this stuff. And they're like slowly built up to worse and worse and worse and worse things. Like in their mind, they're already broken. They've just done this other thing. Like what this is this any worse? Right?
Yeah, it made me have that feeling of, and I watched it the second time, is of that like kind of like that Holocaust situation to where I remember watching it the first time and I'm going, I get it. There's like 17 of y'all. Couple of these dudes is old as fuck. Y'all should be able to just bull rush them and just go out in a blaze of glory type thing. But it never happens, and I'm just like, but that makes sense of that just being because maybe in some of them's mind, they had their families. They got taken from their families. Maybe in their mind, they're like, holy shit, if I don't do this, what's going to happen to little brother, little sister? I don't know. But there was so much to unpeel back on it, man. When you really just step back and be like, avoid that shock factor of like, when she sits there and eats that shit.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I'm sitting there going, and there's nothing that really makes me turn away. But it's crazy to me when I'm watching this to where it made me feel like I'm there. I felt like I'm sitting across that room watching this old girl with that spoon and just take a bite out of it. And I'm sitting there like, and there's a part of me that I feel you are feeling so bad for them. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Somebody just come in and murk all these fuckers right now.
Right. And that's how you feel, right? You hope that there's some kind of outside force because this whole movie is so fucking hopeless that like you when the turd falls and like he picks it up in the spoon, do you have any like doubt of what's going to happen next? You don't, right? Like you know it's going to happen and everything's just going to go wrong the whole way and there's no fucking hope at all. And
No,
I think that that's what's so profound about it, that like you cling to this. There's no one that you can like that is followed for more than like a scene, right? And
no.
it's just like you know what's going to happen at almost at the beginning, right? You know that maybe not specifics, but you know where this is headed, and you just have to go down you go on this adventure, and like you know exactly where the end point is.
And one of the things as I'm watching it, because a lot of times I watch movies, horror movies and stuff like that. Um, I'm always able to remember names. I'm always able to be like that this person, like you get to know them and you get to have like maybe a connection or something with them. I don't know. But for some reason in this one, I couldn't tell you nobody's name in this whole movie because it was like I'm just so caught up in what's going on. I'm having to give them nicknames, from anything from like, shit eating girl to, dude getting the dude getting his beer pissed on type shit. Like I don't, but it's like there was it, but the whole time, like you said, I was waiting because I had no clue how it was going to end. I thought I'm hoping for that moment to where it's like, that that ending to where it's like somebody comes in or these kids just turn around and just fuck these people up. They finally get to the point of I've had enough. But no, it is like they all the way through it. They are just like they're terrified of these fucking four people.
Yeah,
It's not just four. They have like, their little minions that, military shit.
yeah. I mean, even with like victims and stuff, you have moments where like you disconnect from them. Like the one gets caught with the photograph underneath her pillow, and then she turns in somebody else that's doing
Oh
something
yeah.
worse. And they turn in somebody else that's doing worse. And it's like kind of funny that it happens like that and stuff, but that doesn't make you like feel for these people, right?
No, it didn't, and that was the funny thing to me. Whenever they started, like the first one gets caught, and she was like, "Well, so and so has this picture under her thing," and he goes to her, and then she's like, "Well, so and so's got this," and then it just kind of builds up to the part to where the what was that the one dude that was sleeping with the help the
Mhm.
one
Yeah,
cooks.
there's a guard that was sleeping with
Yeah,
the maid.
but then at the same time, I'm wondering, how did they find out? Like, how did they know this? Did they sit around and chit chat? Like, because
So
like knowing that the guard was hooking up with the one of the cooks. Like, how did these kids that are supposedly kind of locked down? I just don't feel like you're roaming around to where you get to peek old dude having sex with the help, you know. But that's just me when I get to watching. I start overthinking and like, well, how did this happen?
yeah. No,
But yeah.
I think they say they see him leaving every night with her or something.
Oh, okay.
That's the dialogue there. But yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It certainly makes you not feel for the people, right? It doesn't make you go like, ah, these are the people that'll overcome and stuff. And then like that when they shoot him and he does like the fist thing,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. And someone might like come in your comments and stuff and tell me
Yeah.
what it is, but I don't get it because they like take a step back. They're like, oh, they're scared of him for a second, and then they open fire on him, and they don't kill anybody else for anything else except for the guy trying to escape at the beginning, to kind of show what's going to happen to you if you try to escape. So I'm really and he's not one of the like hostages, right?
No.
He's one of their people. So like, why? Why?
I took it as in a way of, because I think he was like the second one they killed. 'Cause remember they killed the one girl because she couldn't jack off the mannequin right, and they
Oh,
slit
okay.
her throat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I forgot about that guy, that
yeah,
girl.
hey people, I make jokes that she tried to jack off a mannequin, she didn't do it right. They fucking slit her throat. Okay, but now we got this guy. He's got this relationship with the lady, and she's a black lady, and I feel like that was their big issue with it. And then when he throws the hand up, I took it as like him saying, because at first I thought he was about to throw a little fucking Hail Hitler shit up there, is where I thought it was going. And then he did the fist up. And I was just like, maybe that was his way of like saying that he was maybe in disagreement with the shit they were doing. Maybe he was like his way of saying y'all are fucked up, y'all are wrong. And I don't know. But it's
So
like,
I just looked it up and I'm like, okay, this is the answer. Because Pasolini was a communist, right? Like he's a Marxist guy. And he's like hardcore communist, like all you fascists, you're bad people. But
yeah.
there's like a communist symbol of the fist in the air. So that
Oh,
guy was like, look, I'm a communist guy. And then they're scared of him for a second. And then they're like, we must kill him for this. So I think that they're killing him because he's a communist and not because of necessarily what he did. Because I mean, even those two girls that were having sex together that
yeah.
turned him in, right? Like, is that much worse? And he would have had the opportunity then to like turn somebody else in, but instead he does the fist thing. So answered my own question potentially, but somebody might have a different answer.
Hey, no, it's definitely, if case y'all haven't listened by now, people, if you haven't picked up on this, Trevor's the smart one. I'm the because I lie not. As I'm watching some of this, as I rewatched it today, I'm like, I'm wondering about this and I'm wondering this. But I'm literally telling myself as I'm rewatching it, going, Trevor knows the answer to that. Trevor will break that down for us. And that's what you just did. You just bam, I called it.
Yeah, Google helped me though. I was like, wait a second, is this a communist thing?
Yeah,
What?
I wasn't sure either, but it was odd to me when they kind of backed off from him. Like you said, it's like they
Yeah.
were like scared, and then all of a sudden it was just like, "No, fuck you. We're going to just fill you full of bullets."
Yeah.
And but like that, I didn't think about that either. Where he could have done what everybody else done. He could have rolled over on somebody else. I feel sure he had some juicy stuff. He could have been like, "Hey, dude, if you let me go, let me tell you about this." And he was just like, "Nope, had enough. Fuck y'all." And but yeah, I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah, he's the moral character in it.
Yeah, he was one of the good ones. I say good ones, but he was still doing fucked up shit. But you know, one of the ones that maybe got to the
Like
point
it was
where
all consensual there, but and like
yeah,
he
as
had
far
to
as
but yeah, I mean, like he still helped these people reinforce their power and do things to these other people and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, still a bad guy. Everybody's a bad guy.
yeah, all of them in this one are bad. And it's just, and I remember because I remember watching it going, man, I hope somebody fucking does away. I hope something happens to where they get theirs. And it's just and then after I watched it and I'm watching the behind the scenes, they interview Paulo and he makes a comment. He goes, hope is something politicians tell you just to get what they want, to make you feel like he said hope is something that politic people created type thing. And I'm sitting there going, the whole time I'm sitting there going, I hope somebody shows up. And dude was just like, fuck your hope.
Yeah, that's a very bleak outlook, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I do feel like this is the most hopeless movie I think I've ever
it
seen.
is. Yes. Yeah. And you feel it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
From the time that, in the beginning when that one boy's getting taken out and the mama comes running up with the scarf and trying to put his scarf on his neck, of just being until the very end, like you sitting there and you're wanting something to change, you're wanting something to like let these dudes get theirs. And it
But you
doesn't.
know it's not coming. You know
No.
it's not coming. You just feel it in your guts, like that that thing that you want is never going to happen.
Yeah, and I've watched a lot of horror movies and shit like that where there's movies where I watch where I'm pulling for the bad guy. It's like you get those you just like, and you're like, I hope they don't kill him. I hope he don't get caught. I want him to keep doing his thing. But for this one, it's like God, you fucking hate them. And these four actors who played these guys, in my opinion, were so good at putting off this hate me persona where like you were supposed to hate them and I fucking hated them. But they were so good, especially the president.
Mm-hmm.
The shitty
Cross-eyed.
that dude was so creepy looking. Like
Mm-hmm.
that one part where he like, in the shit eating part, and he's telling the joke to the kid about the fucking rice. He's like, hold your mouth like this and say I can't eat the rice. And he's just like with shit on his mouth. And then he's just like, well, eat shit then. And he was just so fucking God, he was creepy. Like,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed all of them.
I mean,
I
performances.
Oh yeah, performance. Yeah. We're not saying I'm a fan of what the dude was doing. I'm saying that
Right. Yeah, I felt like we should clarify that.
yeah, let's clarify. I was a fan of this dude understood the assignment of what Paulo was telling him, and
Yeah.
he sold it. And then when it comes to that last circle, it was more geared around torture. The last lady's little story.
Yes.
Yeah, she'd get with dudes that had the torture fetish. And as soon as she said that, I was like, damn it, you done hit me with the fucking eating shit stuff. And when she said the torture thing, I enjoy those types of movies. I like hardcore type stuff. And I
I'm
knew
interested to hear how you felt about it.
I like what I did like about it. I liked like when it come time when it was winding down to the end and it's time for the torture. It's like they had to know what was coming. Where you are not walking out of here alive. You're not. You're not going to live to tell people what happened. So when it gets to the torture, one of the things I liked was they started with the first guy, the Duke, I think, sitting in this chair upstairs. He's looking out a window. And when he looks out the window, you see them out there, the guards, the guys, the girls, the other three gentlemen are out there. And he's sitting there with some binoculars and he's sitting there looking and he's watching it. And one of the things I like were, damn it, if it didn't feel like you were sitting in that fucking chair, if like you were sitting there, because he shot it where like the bars of the windows, he's looking through it. And it's like when he's in the little binoculars, it shows you that, and you're sitting there. And
Yeah,
it's
and we don't hear anything out there,
no,
right? That's a big element that
yeah,
like you don't hear any of the violence, but you see them screaming and stuff. And so for me, when I watched this, like that was the profound moment for me, right? Like I had all the shock stuff happen, and then I see the stuff that I know is shocking, right? That like, okay, they're torturing these people with the candle and cutting out an eyeball and all the shit. But I felt nothing. I just felt a profound, like just absolute emptiness, and then it was over. And then I was like, what? Why do I not? Why? Like even like Hostel and stuff. You have like you don't necessarily scream, but you have like you feel something,
the
like
cringe
it's a
moment.
visceral reaction, regardless of if you can separate yourself from like, oh, it's special effects and stuff,
Yeah.
right? But if you are doing that, you're trying to separate yourself from it, right? You're thinking about the production, so you don't have to think about like this awful thing happening to people. But I didn't do that, and I still felt so empty. And I was like, okay, like that is something that I've never seen before. Like other movies, like you feel something really strong about them, and like, oh, you cried because of the sad moment, or you jumped out of your seat because it was so scary. But I've never felt something that like sucked your soul out a little bit and made you feel empty like that. And now I felt like that, but when I went and saw it in a theater filled with people, they all had like this really visceral reaction to it. I heard people groaning and stuff and like, oh God. And I was like, that is not what I got at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know that like that is the intent, but I felt like it was really the intent, especially with, you don't hear it, it's quiet. There's this other stuff going on, like people are dancing, like these two boys are
Oh
dancing
yeah.
together.
The,
And
the,
it's
the crazy
like,
part to me was the silence.
yeah,
Me that just like when it showed that close up of like the girl on the ground and they're about to put the candle to her nipples and you see her face of like screaming bloody murder and but you hear nothing. It's like this dude just upstairs with his binoculars and he's enjoying it. Like that's his kink. He's like, like, but yeah, I'm like you. It wasn't, I've watched movies to where I have that cringe feeling when something happens, and I'm just kind of like, ooh, and it made me kind of just as I'm watching it, there was a part of me that was like, I felt happy for them because it was about this was the end of it, and I felt like you're getting put out of your misery as shit as it may be because there had to be a part of them that was just like I just want to fucking die.
finally.
Yeah, I just want this to be over, and maybe this was, but even then you still don't know. You don't know, maybe there was another page.
Yeah, because it just ends, and that's
Yes.
the other thing too, right? And man, it seems so weird like that. It seems like it's so intentionally done. Like everything is so intentional. Everything means something that this has to too, right? Like
Yeah.
the distancing, the voyeurism, maybe, but like there's something going on there, and even like there are some cool things like subtleties in that scene where the kid that seems to like kind of like things, like he sort of
Yeah.
smiles and
Curly
stuff.
headed kid. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
smiles before they go to his eye because like in his mind they're not really going to do it or something, or like he's happy that he's able to like give them what they want or something. So he's been so brainwashed and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a reflection of society too, that like even though you're trampled on your entire life and stuff, you feel like you're doing your service to the greater good.
Yeah.
Uh,
He does
but
that. He
with
does that a
like,
couple times in the movie.
yes,
That one
yes.
kid, like when he's
Yep.
kissing the Duke and stuff, he gets this smile on his face. And then
Mhm.
I'm going like, is he enjoying this or is he looking at it like, I just want these people to like me? I just, you know, I, I want to be
I
accepted.
I think part of it too is that like um some I think in me when I first saw it, it was like, okay, maybe he'll be the one that like gets turned into a lapdog and doesn't actually get killed at the end. But I think the message is like, no, like everyone gets the same fate, like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you do, like it all ends here, like this is the same for everyone.
Yeah, because I felt like maybe that like the kid smiling and stuff. Maybe there's a part of him that thought that, like in the end, if
Yeah.
I play this game, they're going to, I'm gonna maybe I would be the kid over there holding the gun next time. Like I'll be the cool guy, and it's like, and even like when he's doing it, I was expecting like the first part when I noticed it when he was smiling and he's kissing the Duke guy. I thought the Duke guy was going to flip it and be like, what the fuck are you smiling at type shit. But he didn't. He just like went with it and it's like it made this kid feel more important
Yeah.
knowing knowing
Yeah.
that the bearded guy knew. Like this makes me I'm going to enjoy this more now because you think you are,
Yeah,
progressive.
the Duke is the one watching at that point, right? So he
Yeah.
did for that kid too. So it's like that's the deal with him. And I feel like that is a bit of a like a hope spot, right? Like you go, okay, maybe this kid won't have it as bad as everyone else. But then like you think about like what's the alternate option, that he lives his entire life like this? Is that better? that he doesn't die at the end, and it's like a false hope thing, right? That like, oh, what are you so hopeful about with this person? Like, what end do you think is going to happen to him? But in the end, it is the same as everyone else because
Yeah,
that's how the world is. It is a bleak fucking movie, right?
it is. It is. There is nothing in this movie that that at any point especially when it ends, like you can sit there and think all you want, man, I hope this happens or I hope this one person did. No, these this group of gentlemen who are in this position of power are going to have their way until the very end, and nobody comes out of it in a good way. Nothing in it ends good. Nothing. Like it is a terrible thing from beginning to end, and you're in the middle of it the whole way. It doesn't there's not a breathing point in this movie to where you'd be like, oh, I needed that break. No, this thing will fucking
There
have
are a couple of moments of comedy,
there is,
like
you know,
like the people turning on everybody, just how it's like
yeah,
produced, and
yep,
then like also really horrible things, and then we're gonna play the piano now, like
yep,
stuff like that. Does give you like I wouldn't say levity, but like it does break you away, but we go right back into it like
yeah.
immediately.
Because the first part of like comedy side of it that I caught was where they're all in the big dining hall together, and the ladies come out to serve the food. They're all, naked. The ladies walking behind the table where the higher ups are sitting, and one of the guards trips her and she falls, shatters all the dishes. He basically proceeds just to get up and start having sex with her, like right there, and all of a sudden it's giving you this part of like, what the fuck is he? What are we? And then the next thing you know, the dude jumps up and is like, "You want to see my ass? Check this ass
Yes,
out." And he starts snatching his pants down, going to people, and it's laughing like they're laughing. And to
it's a
me,
joke.
it
He
is.
tells his jokes.
Yeah,
Someone's got a cut throat. He tells a joke about it.
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And
yeah, that
even
is
when
a
he goes up to the dude after he gets done showing the people around the table, he literally goes up to that guard who is, you know, taking this girl, and he's just like, "Oh, my turn." And I'm sitting there going, "What?" And he's like, drops down on the floor with him, and I like there was parts in it that had a comedy type. Here I am, I'm shocking you now. This girl, this is happening to her right now in this moment, and because they get your attention because she screams like this, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" And the next thing you know, I got
yeah.
dude showing us his ass, and everybody's laughing. I'm like, I shouldn't be chuckling right now, damn it.
I know, yeah, it makes you feel bad, right?
Yeah,
It
like
makes you
I
feel
should
to
not
laugh.
chuckle at
Eh,
this.
I think that we didn't even talk about it, but like the guys that aren't the judge, because the judge is going to marry them, where they're all in drag and stuff, and then
Yeah.
they marry the boys,
Yep.
and like that's played for comedy. Like you can say maybe it's not, but it is. It totally is that they take it so seriously,
Oh
and
yeah.
everyone needs to be laughing and stuff. So like we tell a joke again, and everyone laughs. So yeah, I mean that's kind of sprinkled throughout, and I think that that's one of the big things like uh, with shock movies in general that works really well for me, and I think it is missing from things because people are like, didn't like those jokey parts, but they're important. So like Last House on the Left, you seen it?
It's been a while. I have seen it, but it's been a
The
good one.
original and then the remake.
I've seen both, but there's a gap. It's been a while.
So, so I'm a big proponent. No one jumps on my boat with this one. The original has these like bumbling cops, right? And we keep taking these asides. It's like this really awful shit. And then we have these cops that are ridiculous, and it's funny music and stuff. And then we go back, and like to have that makes the bad stuff seem so much worse. And in the remake, that stuff's removed, and like it doesn't have the same kind of effect at all. And there are other elements, right? There are production elements, and it feels like you're just out in the woods with these people. That definitely amps things up versus more production quality and production value and stuff. But I think that that serves an important purpose with like shock stuff, right? That you need a break so that you can get even deeper, right? Like you need to laugh for a second, and then because if you stay constant, right, then like it never allows you to go down the slope,
Yeah.
right?
Because we didn't talk about this part either. Another kind of funny part that I thought was to where the one lady's telling her story, and there's this dude that's dying, and he basically wants to see her asshole, and he makes a comment like, "That's the best looking asshole I've ever seen." The one dude jumps up, and like, that gives me an idea. Let's take these boys and girls, and we're going to have a contest, and we're going to walk around and judge which one of them has the best looking asshole. And then there's this part where they're sitting out on the stairs. It's like they sent all those the group of the guys and the guards. They're sitting on the stairs waiting while this lady is setting up like this, like how you would do a car show where you're just lining everything up. People are going to come in and judge it, and they're sitting on the stairs and they're impatient, like let us in there. And then they go in there, and it was not what I was expecting to see. I thought when they said that they're going to have them like stand against a wall. No, they walk in there and you got fucking 17, six, whatever people bent over in like a little semicircle.
Mm-hmm.
And they got their flashlight. They turn the lights out because they don't want to know whose asshole they're looking at.
Yeah.
And just like flashlighting. And I'm sitting there. To me, that part was it fucked up? Yes, but I'm sitting there going, there was a funny part, the way they're talking about it.
Yeah, it's funny because they're intellectualizing this, right?
Yes.
Like, well, what if we have a preference for males or females? Like, wouldn't that ruin the objectivity of our scientific experiment here, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's so ridiculous that like it's absurd and it's kind of funny, but it's juxtaposed with this thing like, oh, okay, the winner is going to die, right? Like,
Yeah.
because that's his best option. And just before that, we're talking about like, what's the worst thing that we can do? Well, if we could kill people, that would be the worst, but like you only get to do it once and then it's done. And then they decide like, oh, okay, well, let's play this fucking trick on him and let him think that he's going to die, but like, no, we're going to kill you over and over again. And that is like a really kind of like scary, profound thing that they do like immediately after this
Yeah.
ridiculous like test thing.
Yeah, because I thought like, oh, they're going to kill him, and so then there had to be a part of this too, like when he puts the gun to his head, there had to be a part that was like, finally, and then
Yeah.
that motherfucker, because I thought they were going to kill him. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're going to kill him, and then when that motherfucker clicked, and he was just like, we're going to kill you over and over again. I was like, ooh,
They are hopeless, absolutely
oh, can
hopeless.
you imagine the feeling in that kid's soul when
Yeah.
in that moment where you thought the light at the end of the tunnel, and then he's like, "No, we're gonna kill you over and over again." I was like, "Holy fuck, dude! Cold hearted, cold."
Yep.
But
Yes. Yes,
one
sir.
thing, one thing I did think, because we've kind of gone through this movie, family, we've talked about it, and one of the things that kind of it was a fucked up thought that I had, and I had it. And then after I watched some of the behind the scenes talk, it actually got brought up in there because one of the things when I see after I watch it the second time, people talk about, oh, it's just this porno type thing, whatever, whatever. But I'm sitting there going, um, people out there every day watch porn every day. It's a thing. Um, and some of the things in this movie that you see on a porno, guy having sex with girl, whatever. Take away the fact that the younger, whatever. Take that away. People are okay with it. They're okay with seeing this sex act on porn. They give you the close up. They box it in. That's what's happening. I feel like what makes this one uncomfortable when you watch this is he doesn't do that. When he shows you this scene, you're seeing the room and you're seeing people watching it. You're seeing people looking at it in this way of like, to me, that's what made it so, I'm a fan of porn. I tell people, hey, Hey, I'm a fan. But
Uh-huh.
you take a scene like, um this some of those scenes that they're doing in it, and if and they talked about it in the behind the scenes, if you just literally what makes people uncomfortable is they're seeing that, and he shows you the open room, and you're seeing this guy doing this with this girl, and you're seeing all this like audience around just watching it going, and to me that I feel like that makes it seem worse that there's people watching it and nobody does nothing.
Yep.
Like, you know, because there's a couple of girls in this movie that I thought maybe we're going to like, because they're talking about, well, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, okay, she's gonna be one of these that just loses her shit.
Hmm.
She doesn't. Her and that girl end up being the ones caught in bed together, you know. But it was just, man, I gotta watch it again now just because some of the shit you kind of peel back. I'm gonna
No,
watch it
no,
again.
don't watch it. Don't watch it.
I
No,
got
it's
to.
it, like
Got to.
it. I feel like it's kind of essential viewing, and like when people try to tell me about like the politics of like a Serbian film,
Yeah.
I kind of get it, but it's not. It doesn't have the same kind of like depth and everything as
Oh,
everything here. Like this is like fucking so artful, and for people to reduce it into it being a pornography film,
yeah.
I think it's just not right.
No.
Like there's a level of importance to it, even if you take away the film itself, that this person made a piece of art and was murdered for it. And you can say maybe he wasn't, right? Because like I don't know, like it's not explicitly made clear, but it is, like he's going after like these political elite,
Yeah. He's put.
and like
Yes.
saying that they do like this kind of shit,
Yeah.
even though it's in the guise of satire and stuff. That like, yeah, like I can say that I believe he was killed for this fucking movie, and just knowing that it's kind of like the same thing with Cannibal Holocaust, and you go, I don't want to watch animals die and stuff. You don't have to, but it's an important film, right? Like this dude like made a movie and was taken to court
Yeah.
about like these people actually dying and stuff. He like helped found the found footage
Yes.
genre that's everywhere and stuff. This is like a serious thing that influenced film history forever. Like
Oh,
it is a very important film.
yeah. And for me, it's like the I just lost my train of thought. Fuck. Where was I going with that?
I don't know.
Had something to do with what you were saying, and I had it, and then it slipped away from me. But damn it, that bothers me when I lose that. The old age getting to me, I guess. But maybe it'll come to me before we're done here. But so on this show, you know how we do it. We fuck them, marry them, or kill them.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm gonna be weird about it.
yeah, it's all good because, like I said, on
What
here,
what are you gonna say? You want to do yours first?
oh, I'll do mine. I'm going.
Right.
I'm fucking it. This is one
Oh,
of those
I would
things.
say like that's the last thing I want to do with it.
No, I
Uh,
was. It's the friends with benefits. It's that movie that every now and then you'll call up and you just want to watch it. It's not one you want to watch every day, but it's definitely one of them that I will go back to. And whether it be letting somebody else watch it or, I'm going to go back and watch it again because of some of the shit you peeled back. And I'm like, "Man, I didn't notice that, but now I got to see it." So for me, it's got to be a fuck. It's a friends with benefits. I will be watching it again. I didn't. I I feel like so many people, because of what they've read or what they've heard with this movie, they stay away from it,
mhm.
and they're not going to give it a chance. The same way when you hear people talk about the Serbian film is they get caught up in this one thing, and they're just like, oh, I'm just blah 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 blah, and I'm like, you know, I don't want. This is a movie that you have to see it, people. You need to see it. If you
I
haven't,
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
you get through it, and you know you need to see it. And I'm going back. I'm glad I got the DVD. I'm glad I got the Blu-ray that I can just pop in and Yeah. What about
Like,
you?
it would fit right next to your Cannibal Holocaust I see in the background there.
It is, yeah. It's
That's a
good.
Serbian film. Yeah.
It'll be on the shelf here soon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with marry, but also like it's like a really bad marriage where I want to kill my spouse, right? Like I don't want to watch it again. It's not something that I want to I will watch every day, but I feel like it's so like attached to me, right? Like we just talked on an interview forever ago, and like not forever ago, a few months ago,
Mhm.
right? And like I hadn't seen that movie in years, and we just like started talking about Salo because like it's so fucking like ingrained in my brain. And I'll go back and watch like scenes from it or like try to analyze something from it, but I don't want to watch it in its entirety like ever. So I'm married to it, but like I hate it. Like I don't like the experience. I want a divorce, but I can't get out of it, right? Like it's a really bad marriage.
Hey, that makes sense because
All
it
right.
is one of those that the good thing with owning it on physical media is if I'm overthinking a part like that one part Trevor talked about, let me just go to that chapter of the movie. I don't need to watch
Yeah.
shit eating. I don't need to get through the shit eating. I just want to get to this one part and let me watch that. But it was it was more than I expected it to be. I didn't realize, I had no clue going into it that it was going to make me just sit there when it was over going like, what the fuck? But at the same time, it's like, what did I miss? Is there there's something else, damn it. I need to go back.
Yeah, there's so much depth to it. Like on the second view, like I noticed so many new things and stuff. And like if you think about it, it's got all the fucking like shock of like a cannibal holocaust, but
Mhm.
without the animal cruelty and death like that, right? So it's able to raise itself to that level without like crossing whatever kind of like fucking moral thing that a lot of people have and stuff. And it has all the same stuff as like a Serbian film, but it has so much like political and societal and just like world messages, human messages, right? That are really fucking profound. This dude was really fucking smart,
He was
man.
smart. Like
Yeah.
in some of the interview, they interviewed him and he's talking about the movie. And even then, he even said because he had brought up like the hippie phase going on, and they asked him about like who do you think this movie will like maybe attract or whatever, and he even made the comment. He goes, "I don't think my movie will ever be accepted or understood maybe by this generation." And he went into it. The dude was just smart, and the way he's talking about it, and the way he's talking about the government, and he's looking at like commercializing everything, and to where it was just all about this the who's in charge and all this stuff, and he's talking about it. And I'm sitting back, like you said earlier, nothing has changed 30
Yeah.
years later, pretty much. And nothing. The same shit he was talking about, the same shit that he brought attention to, that I agree with you. That's what got his ass killed. Was the
Yeah.
shit that he was putting out there that was like these looking at like the politicians, you got this president, you got this all these people that this in this position of power and just the shit they got away with and can get away with and continue to get away with. And it was like still going. And the interview of it with him, it was what made me have to watch it again. And because I was like, yeah, I had to, damn it.
Yeah, really smart dude. By the way, this was 47 years ago.
Oh, is it? Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you think you go, oh, 70s, like that's approximately 30 years ago. And then you
But
go,
I
we're in
should know better because
2024
fuck,
now.
I,
Jesus Christ.
I
What
should
happened?
know better because fuck, I was born in 76. Damn it. I should have known better.
Oh yeah? It's
Yeah,
it's your birthright now. Like it came out for you.
it is. And that's why I'm glad I own it. That's why this could be a birthday movie like every year of my birthday just because.
Jesus Christ, dude. What all right. You're
One
you're
year,
you're fucking hardcore.
one year going down the shit eating rabbit hole. of
Yeah, you just bring your friends around, you make a bunch of brownies and half cook them and
hey,
smash them into little shapes, and y'all eat have a brownie eating contest while watching Salo.
and one quick thing is that I looked on. I watched this little thing about this movie. They interviewed a couple of the people that worked on the set,
Mhm.
and it's watching it is super difficult, and they made that, and that's the reason behind it. He nailed it, everything about it. But they interviewed the lady, and they were like, "It's so crazy because so much hate gets thrown at this movie," and she goes, "But like between the sets, between when the cameras weren't rolling, she goes, it was like a bunch of just teenagers laughing and joking." She goes, "Everything became so natural, they were like, there were days where they're just like show up naked on set, but it became just this, and they laughed, they joked, and they talked about Mr. Paulo, just how easy how he would come around, and when he would talk to him be very like he would he made it look so fucking uncomfortable, and so these kids, everybody in this movie, because he even said it like not all those kids were like actors. He had like a handful of like actors, and the rest of them he brought in and was just like, this is what I want you to do. And they just, they interviewed a couple of like the girls that ran it and stuff, and like, and one of the thing I thought was super cool, they did not know what they were going to be filming day to day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they would show up on set, and about 30 minutes before shooting, they would tell them what they're about to do. And so they didn't know, there was no script of them knowing like at some point down the road, I'm going to be sitting there with a spoon of chocolate cake pretending I'm eating shit. They didn't know that. They said they literally would find out like 20 to 30 minutes before time to shoot of
Oh,
what they were going to be doing. And because he wanted them to have that factor, that face of just
yeah.
like, and everybody in the room sitting around going like, fuck she eating shit for, And dude was a fucking, the dude was smart. The dude, hey,
Yeah. That's a shame he died. Like,
it is.
what could he have done? But I guess
Hey,
at the same time, it elevates this film like considerably. Like people really pay attention to it. I think it was banned in several countries, and I
oh
think
yeah,
it's banned in some countries.
still
Um,
is to a
yeah,
certain, I guess. But one thing I will say, the dude had some balls on him. The dude was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And he just fucking sent it. And that's why I am will be and always will be a fan of the independent side of horror, because it's like somebody has this idea, this image, they want to do it. You ain't got some fucking higher up sitting there saying, no, tone it down, don't do that, don't say that. Fuck them. Mr. Paulo just said, fuck everybody. And when he did this one, it cost him his fucking life.
yeah,
Some motherfuckers was
exactly.
hating on the mug. Be
He
like,
had a message that was so important. He had to have known that like
yeah,
he was in danger for it, right? And he was like, this is important enough to do it anyway. And like in that way, like what a brave artist, you know?
yeah,
Like I don't know that we have so many. Like we have people that yeah, they co-opt they let their story be co-opted for a few bucks, right? Like, oh, I can pay myself better. So yeah, I'll change things around and stuff. And this guy's like, I could I could live, you know, I could continue to have a life where I am not dead,
yeah.
but instead I compromise nothing. And
No, he did.
I think that that's fucking profound.
Yeah. And that's, after I read up on some of it, and just the fact that he had this, because he was in, when they, he was upset with the way things were in that time with with like maybe the government, maybe the way he looked at it, he had a problem with it, and he wanted it to be like, I don't fucking like this, and I'm just going to, this is what I'm going to do, and that's what he done, and and that's why I say, I said like, watch it and get over the shock factor of what you're about to watch, and look into it, and just there's so much to it, and the dude was a fucking smart guy, and and damn it, I enjoyed this fucking movie, and you married it. Hey,
Yeah, I'm
you,
stuck with it
you
now.
may hate it,
I'm
it's
I'm
that.
I'm legally
Yeah, you're,
tied.
you're- yeah, you may sit across the room in the evening and look at it and hate its guts at the same time, but I'm just like, I love you, but I hate you at the same time, bitch. That's kind of like that, you know. And but yeah, for me, it is one of those I'm going back to. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to recommend, you know, and
Yeah, you have to watch it at least once, and
you
then
do.
like afterwards, you never have to watch it again. But you can like start to like just really try to take it in like
Yeah.
completely, as much as you want to turn away from it.
Yep.
Really, just like try to watch it and watch the details of it, and then learn about it. Right, like the interviews are great. Just like scholarly articles about
Yeah.
it and stuff. It
Yep.
all exists out there because it is an important film. And like these people aren't just like wacko freaks that want to like analyze pornography.
Yeah.
They see it as an important movie. This guy lived through World War II,
Mhm.
1977, re-rise of fascism in his country, and he was like, I see the same fucking thing happening that happened before. All these like, can you not remember just a few years ago when this shit happened?
Yeah.
Instead of being angry, he was like resigned to like a nihilistic point of view. Like, there's nothing that we can do about it. This is what happens. This is what happens when people are given power. And when people are given a little bit of power, they take more and more power until they do stuff like this. And
Yep.
he wanted to say something about it, and he did in a way that we're still talking about it today, and we still hold it up as like one of the most shocking films of all time, and that's 1977, right? So like,
And
yeah,
and how cool is it, in my opinion? Like, I don't have the ability to make movies, write movies, do none of the shit that you do and others do. I don't have that. But there's got to be the fact that if he could be here now and just look at something that he made and know 40 years later that it is still like,
47.
how cool would it be to get your shit banned in other countries? I
Yeah,
to
that'd be
I would be fucking, that would get me hard. I'd be harder with the fact, like, man, your country is such a pussy that you won't let my movie play. I would find that as a compliment, and
it is, it should be because like okay, so you make some fucking movie that's like I don't know, semi-pornographic, awful shit. Like they do the iceberg things. One of those ones that are low on the iceberg. I won't say any of the names because I don't want to like tell make people seem less than what they are. There's art to those movies and stuff. But those movies aren't banned anywhere because people don't care about them at the same level, right? Like Cannibal Holocaust is an important film. That's why it was banned places. And I guess it was a different time and shit, and censorship was more strict, but not really. I mean, like in our country, in the United States, it is, but like, I mean, it's more open now. But like in other countries, like it's more strict, and these things aren't getting banned there because there's no demand to see things there, right? So you need something of substance, some level of like profound importance to get banned like that. And sometimes it's production stuff, right? Like the video nasties, like it's like, oh wow, they made a really captivating movie and it features these things that we need to ban. Or it's something that has like political messages that could be potentially harmful for their country and
yeah,
stuff, right? Like
they don't they don't
pro-communist, fascist shit, and
they
then
don't want
like,
people thinking like that. They don't want people to be thinking.
yeah, don't subvert the government with a movie,
Yeah,
right? And
uh,
that's what he was doing.
yeah, and that's what I said. It's such a good movie. Everything behind it, everything was so fucking good, and I'm glad you'd recommended it to me and it took me a while, and I'm glad I finally got to watch it, and I am not disappointed. Better
Yeah,
this time, and it, hey, But hey, I know you're short on time, and I said I know
Yep.
you're a busy guy, and like I said, I appreciate you coming on here, Trevor, and hanging out here and talk about this movie. I've been
Yeah, dude, we can talk about it whenever. Hit me up on the messenger. Go like, hey, I thought about this with Salo, and I'll
yeah,
still talk about it, 'cause I'm interested in it, man.
yeah, and I'm I said super glad you came on here again, and like I said, I look forward to what you got to come. And like I said, the door's always open here, brother. If you want to come up here and anything you want to talk about, or anything, just let me know. And like I said, the seat's always at this table.
Yeah, dude, next time you go, I found this thing and it is fucked up and you have to see it. Then I'll watch it and I'll come on and we'll talk about it.
I'll be on the lookout then.
All right. It has to be like fucking like world changing.
Oh,
Find that world changing fucking movie. Like I see a Serbian film up there, I've seen it. Cannibal Holocaust, I've seen all the cannibal movies I've seen. But maybe there's something out there
have you seen
that I
Trauma?
haven't seen. Trauma?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Argento trauma? You're talking about a different trauma, aren't you?
Oh, this one is the about Lucio Rojas.
I don't think I've seen that. No.
Oh,
Is it really good?
oh.
Life changing?
Hey, it's on its own stand for a reason.
All right, all
See,
right. I'll check it out.
It's not Salo life changing type shit, but it's still one of those that there's only a couple of mine that get on a little stand. Your code,
Okay.
one of them.
Have you done it? Have you covered it though?
I did with my brother like early on.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get a three-way update version.
Yeah, like I said, this one of those that it's in my. I had to look for that Blu-ray, and it wasn't easy to come by. And it's one of those I tell people now that I don't normally pay a certain amount for certain Blu-rays, but that one was just one of them I had to have. It's like I gotta have it. But yeah, it's one of those that's just like I love it.
All right, all right. I'll check it out. I haven't seen that one.
Not life changing though. It's not Salo. Just don't.
Well,
Don't.
it's up here though. It's on here.
It is because I just like.
It's just gonna go on the side with these other guys.
It's gonna get a spot eventually. Eventually, Drama's one of those because I just liked an extreme fucked up movie, and
Oh, me too.
yeah, and that one, to me was one of those movies that I just like. Oh fuck yeah! And I think it used to be on Tubi. I don't know if it still is, but it was on Tubi when I watched it.
Oh shit. Oh well, that's easy for me if it's on Tubi still.
Yep.
But
But
Tubi
like I said,
Tubi.
yeah, I love Tubi. But I won't let you get out of here, brother. I appreciate it, and come back anytime. Like I said, I'm gonna be on the lookout for some stuff, and bring it back on here. Let's talk some shit. Had a great time, brother. I appreciate it again, and
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun to talk.
yeah, man. Best of luck, whatever you got coming up, and
Who gives a shit?
yep, I think
Watch
that's
Salo again.
But yep, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode, family. Salo, go watch it. Just fucking watch it. But this is that part of the show, people. I need you all to reach over and grab your drinks. I need you to put your chairs away, gather up your shit, and get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
That man's got Mars!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some father and ice cream.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive my harem.
Welcome to the debauchery.